Hello everyone! Today we're going to be working on using some egg carton or paper board material. This happens to be like a giant drink cup carrier that I've cut out one of the containers. And I'm going to be turning this into either a bear or a lion, and we're just making the head. Now, I took a look at the top of this egg carton and saw this shape, and it kind of looked like an open mouth to me. And so I'm thinking I would like to attach this onto here to create an open mouth. And then I'll add a little bit more definition to close in those ears. To do this, I'm going to tape it in place, deciding where I want to line it up. And then I'm going to add a little bit of tape down here to give me something that I can build a chin off of. Same with the tips of the ears. Okay, now, to help add definition to this, I'm going to be using Celluclay. Celluclay is a dry, powdery material that when you add water, it creates paper mache. So I'm going to pour some in a mixing bowl. Pour in some water and just use your hands to mix until you get the desired thickness. You want it to feel kind of like paper clay. Right now it really feels like warm oatmeal. Okay, mixes up pretty quick like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of build some details and some transitions so that instead of being like a step from here to here, it will be like a smooth transition. Same for the chin. Use this paper clay to help fill my chin area in. Just kind of spreading and using my fingertips to pat it down. And now you can kind of see, you know, this original side and how this almost made it like a cheek. So continue working with small chunks of it until your little animal head looks complete. When you're done, really take your time turning, rotating your head, making sure that there's no like globs falling off. Everything that is blending into the cardboard part should be pulled and blended smoothly. So like the chin that I added and built looks like it was always there. It kind of blends smoothly into the neck. You can see the snout and the nose. Try to leave little indents on the side for where I'll paint the eyes. And then when you're done, you will set it down and let this dry and we can paint it and add details on. For the next step, once the paper clay has dried, and you know it's dry because it won't feel cold, then you can begin painting the exterior. You can use tempera or acrylic paint. Please do some color mixing to try to make it look a little more realistic and not so cartoony. So feel free to mix up some tints or tones or shades. Maybe think of areas that are going to be lighter on your animal and other areas that might be darker. It's a little bit more rough material, so you'll want to kind of poke and bounce your brush rather than maybe painting as smoothly as you do on paper. Just kind of use your hand to hold it, rotate it, so that you're painting all sides. If you take a look at the side here, you can see how it kind of goes from like a lighter to a medium to a darker brown. If you're blending colors and you want that transition, you need to do those things while they're wet. To do very sharp details, like to get my teeth clean and get the nose, I'm gonna wanna wait till the surrounding areas are dry so that I'm not accidentally blending in and making colors muddy. Now let's talk about finishing this project. After your head is done drying, you can do this step after painting or before painting. It's up to you, depending upon how your teacher is doing it in the process. A finished project is going to look something like this, where the head is dry, it's painted. We have a background, which is basically like a picture frame, because this is a portrait of this animal, so we can only see a little bit of the top portion of the body. You can choose to do sort of a realistic portrait, like my bear is a little more realistic, or you could do one that's more whimsical or cartoony, putting them into clothes. The background is made out of cardboard, and then you can create a picture frame for it by adding some sort of a border. Let's take a look at that process. So my next head is going to be a cat. I have my piece of cardboard. Lay the head on the cardboard and decide if you want to trim or cut any of the cardboard off at all to help make your design. So maybe if I just want to cut off my corners, and then I can create a border. Popping the head back in the middle, can draw my body. I think for this one, I'm gonna go for more of like a cute, clothed cartoon animal. Maybe this one's gonna be wearing a tie. All right, after you get that done, trim anything off you need. For paint, as you know, we use tempera and acrylic paint for the cat. You can use the same. If you happen to have Posca pens or any other kind of paint marker, those work really nice for the border because you can add a lot of detail. Details can be added to either your frame or your animal using Posca pens or a Sharpie permanent marker. You can add things like eyes that you weren't able to get clearly with a paintbrush, or other elements of the frame like our frame itself, or details to the clothes just to help bring out some realism or just some extra things. So I'm going to be adding some fish onto my cat's tie. Finish with your sculpture. Hot glue the head onto the background. Make sure your name and code is on the back. These are amazing. I'm so excited to see what you're going to create.